What's up YouTube, Chronos here, and welcome back to the PSO2 video. So today's video, we're pretty much going to be doing ultimate quests and just kind of having a little chat with you guys. So I know people ask about this sort of thing every once in a while, but just so you guys are aware, build wise I'm using a dual weapon, dual stance tree, and I am also I'm a bouncer hunter. Yeah, maybe if I could speak it'd be helpful, but I am a bouncer hunter, not using fighter sub because you just don't. I talked about that in a different video, but you don't do that. Using bouncer fighter or bouncer hunter. Now you guys have got me saying it. I'm actually using a Iron Will Stalwart Spirit Tree this time around, just for ultimates, really, just because you tend to get one shot a lot in them anyway, and you spend a lot of time here grinding, so it's kind of nice not to have to worry about going back to pick up mates too often. And bouncers can fairly easy heal themselves by just dropping down a quick Magiverse and attacking while in it. You don't have to charge it, just tapping it really fast for yourself personally is more than enough. I actually didn't get the weapon action on that. So now that that's out of the way. Oh, also, you know, shout out to the guy in the comments of one of the last videos who mentioned that my whitetail was not grinded. And it's been like that for literal months now. Oh, I got one shot. You know, so much for Iron Will. This is why you don't rely on Iron Will consistently, because you still have 25% chance of getting killed. It wasn't necessarily a one shot. I was in my menu, so I got like double tapped, but you know, whatever, no big deal. But in ultimates, you die. This is pretty much normal. Let's see. We are going to skip mining base. So, you know, funny story. Before we get into this is actually the second time recording this video, because the first time I made a little mistake. Said something in the video I can't really edit out easily, and it would cause it to get very, very demonetized. So we're just going to re-record it. But I purposely picked the time to record the video before an emergency quest or an urgent quest would come up, because, you know, we know my luck with recording videos during urgent quests. It happens literally all the time, right? So I was like, all right, cool. Picked the perfect time for this. Someone just gave me a leader, meaning they're probably going to leave, which we may need to find a new MPA. Yeah, turning in good lucks. Wait, hold on. If you still go to the next area, it's gonna do it for everyone. Okay, they're leaving. Gotcha. But we may need to find a new MPA, which is all right. I'm gonna hit buttons, dude. I think people are actually starting to leave, which kind of sucks. Anyway, so we know my luck with recording videos during urgent quests tends to happen all the time. But I purposely made sure that there wasn't an urgent quest going on when I started the video out. But now that I have to re-record it, it was at the perfect time that an urgent quest is going to pop up. So, you know, hey. If it ain't broke, don't fix it, I suppose. If the videos work out at this time, they work out at this time. So anyway, how are you guys doing? Hope everything's going okay for you guys. The world's in a bit of a crazy state. I personally live in the US, so those of you guys who know what's going on here, it's not exactly the greatest of situations. Let me put down a party marker. Someone wants to party. There we go. So not exactly the greatest of situations going on in the world right now, but you know, we do the best we can. We endure, we persevere. And you guys know me, I don't get too crazy political, but those who know me well enough know my stances and those sorts of things, so we'll leave it at that. We're gonna get back to video games, though. So you guys have actually shown a crazy amount of support, whether it be in the comments and the subscribers and all those awesome things, likes, comments, everything like that. I do get your comments. I actually, you know, a little bit of a read into the old personal life of Chrono. I have an iPhone and an Apple Watch, so I get all my notifications usually popping up on my wrist. So every once in a while, if you guys comment something and all of a sudden I respond like within a couple of seconds, it's because I just happen to be looking at my watch and noticed that your comment was there. So makes my wrist buzz, dude. Which now I can foresee someone commenting wrist buzz. As I say that, I didn't say in the last video, but as I say that now, I'm like, I can foresee that happening now. And now that I've said it, it's definitely going to come true because it's a self-fulfilling prophecy. Or you guys will be so crazy that you won't do it. Oh, dude, we got... Okay, so this is the downside to using Magiverse if you don't use it right. There we go. Okay, so the MPA is still filling back up, which is good. This is basically just RNG, by the way. The chance of me living or dying. It's 25% chance for me to die with Iron Will, which, you know, is still a 1 in 4 chance. But in all those situations, I would have been one shot anyway. Well, actually, you know what? In 2 of the 3 of those situations, I would have been one shot anyway. So it's not really that big of a deal. Okay, one last one to go. Anyway, about the support, guys, I really, really appreciate it. It's super awesome of you guys. I will say, you know, those of you guys in the comments, I have seen some negative comments pop up. I know some people were like, you know, thanks for reading the comments. I know the comments are a scary place. To be honest, you guys have been pretty cool with comments recently. There's only been a couple here and there that have been kind of like, you know, a bit of the concern frog. But for the most part, I mean, even before I could get to those comments, you guys would shut them down faster than I could. And actually meaner than I would. So, like, you know, comment heroes, get them. I appreciate you guys. There was actually one individual comment I talked about in the last video, but I'm not going to give it too much, you know, too much grief in this video, just because, you know, maybe they don't understand or maybe they didn't know, because at the surface it's what it seems like, right? So the comment said something to the effect of, you know, just pick the weapon. It was with the weapon analysis, or the quote meta weapon analysis video, where someone was like, you know, pick the weapon with the highest number. It doesn't take rocket science to understand, blah blah blah, you know, right? Which to some effect, kind of right, but kind of right isn't right, is the biggest thing, right? So being sort of correct isn't necessarily being correct, and I do try, I do my best at least for myself on bringing you guys the most correct information I possibly can. Now, granted, I don't get it 100% right all the time. This is, of course, my own experiences, things that I've personally worked with, so your mileage may vary. However, I at least do my best to show you guys where I'm grabbing my information from. That way, just in case I miss something, you guys are able to correct me. And I have been corrected in the comments before. And even the smartest people understand sometimes you get corrected, you make mistakes. You're only human, right? So I do look at these comments, and I do try to figure them out. Like, hey, look, you know, where did I go wrong? Or, you know, did I say something incorrect, right? And funny enough, with one of the weapons I choose, picking the weapon with the highest number isn't necessarily the exact correct choice. We use, for example, the Twin Orochis, right? Twin Orochis give a bonus 60% to break stance, which, funny enough, now, if you're getting into Bouncer right now, funny enough, that bonus 60%, even though these are only 1200 melee power, actually put them slightly more damage. Now, granted, it is ever so slightly, but it was more so back when back before the Nemesis weapons came out. But this was ever so slightly above my Nemesis duels. Mind you, the Nemesis duels that have 17% increased power on them and 1800 melee power. Kind of crazy when you think about it. Oh, my tri boost just ended. So we'll lose a little bit of our Photon Blade Fever time to repop a tri boost and drop rate. Dope. Yeah, always have rare drop rate up and a tri boost up if you're going to be farming, by the way. This is why I always tell people, like, picking up the rare drop rate from the tree isn't really worth that much, because I think it's what, 10%? We can get up to 20% damage, and rare drop rate is already 250%, and then on top of that you can also get a tri boost, which is 100%, or at least 50 minimum, which those are pretty easy to get a hold of. And then on top of that, if you're playing premium, you also get an extra 50% tri boost, and if you're in a party, you get a 40% tri boost. So, like, there's a lot of buff stacking that happens, and I've been told there's a cap to this buff stacking. I don't know where we're going in this specific circle, dude, but you know what? I dig it. We should move on to other places in this circle, but I dig going in this circle. And I'm probably going to be the one to break us going over that circle soon. I know our green dot boy is like, dude, are we going to, like, never leave the circle? And I hear you, my guy. I hear you. We should. But right now, people are feeling the circle, so. Oh, I got hit. Let's go ahead and cast something to change our element to ice. Get that extra jet sweep kick in. Nice. All right, cool. Focused on gameplay for just, and I stopped focusing on gameplay for a half second, and I got hit, and it's almost the death of me. There we go. Oh, nope. Dude, trying to commentate as well as play at the same time, it's like being bad at walking and chewing bubblegum, dude. I feel like you should be able to do it fairly easily, but you get right down to it, it's not as easy as it seems. And okay, we're good. Awesome. So yeah, negative comments. I do my best to try to understand them. So I would say don't shut them down, but honestly, it's funny watching you guys shut them down because like literally the next comment underneath it that had a bunch of likes on it was "Don't listen to idiots like this." So I was like, you know, I didn't really have to say anything. You guys said it for me. I'm getting absolutely wrecked. All right, cool. Let's pick a safer weapon for a minute. It's easier just to throw blades from a range, dude. Awesome, there we go. But I will say, guys, as I have gotten a couple of comments that are just like, oh, this is awesome, this video is so much better than insert this person's name video here about a similar topic. When you start creating content, one thing you have much less time to do is also absorbing content. And because I personally am making these videos about this sort of things, I'm not looking for these types of videos, right? Like I'm not searching for this sort of thing because I don't really need to. I know about it already. So if someone else has made a video about this, man, you know, I'm not like against you saying that you like my video more than someone else's, but you know, don't start any beef, chat. I'm calling you guys collectively chat just because I'm used to streaming, which by the way, I've also noticed a bunch of you guys following my Twitch channel. Yes, I will stream again when I have no idea, but Twitch is doing this weird DMCA thing at the moment, which is kind of freaking me out because I like to listen to a lot of music. So I don't want to like screw up my channel. I heard it's only affecting like larger channels or whatever, so I might be totally safe, but it's always a concern for me personally. So I've just not really messed with it. At the time of this video goes up, I might stream today actually. So yeah, keep an eye out for that. If you guys want to really keep up when streams go live, I usually make a post in Discord right when I go live, and I add the Discord itself. So feel free to join the Discord. I know there's a lot of grizzled veterans. That's what I want to say. Yeah, grizzled veterans from PSO2 there that are a bit jaded. You know, take them with a grain of salt. They've played the game through a lot of really bad times, so you know. I do my best to try to make sure people understand, again, perspective. And people want to, you know, they want to have fun, so I'm gonna let you guys enjoy yourselves. Maybe some of you guys will take over a couple of channels and, you know, make it a bit more fun for the rest of you guys to be there. So by all means, feel free to join. There's plenty of stuff going on in there. It's not all just PSO2. We play other games as well. I'm a Final Fantasy 14 player as well. And Raider, endgame player, all that good stuff. So you will eventually see sorts of things of that going on, like little things about that popping up here and there too. And then a good buddy of mine, Intaru, also streams. I'm gonna do this and see if I can get something to spawn. Yep, okay, cool. Anga spawned. I made the right choice. Gotta break the cycle. I know that guy that was trying to go this way before, so I was like, see, this is why you wanted to go this way. What else do we want to talk about? Oh yeah, alliance stuff. So I do have an alliance. Just to answer you guys the question, I am on ship 2. I have an alliance. It's called No Refunds. Yes, you are welcome to join. There are 2 caveats to that though. One, this alliance was originally made for a bunch of my friends. So I have my old alliance I was a part of. Really, really cool guys. I didn't make this alliance. This was something that I joined. Victory Flawless was the name of the alliance. But really, really chill dudes. But they were going for a lot of you know, not top end server stuff as far as you know, difficulty goes, but like as far as farming goes, right? So there are requirements on pretty much that locked you into a certain amount of playing per week. Now I don't think they're unreasonable requirements by any mean, but they do kind of pressure you a little bit if you're new at the game and you don't have, you know, a couple of days to play. You really aren't going to be super super effective at doing what they're asking for you to do. It was very much a social alliance, right? So a lot of my buddies, they kind of keep to themselves a bit. They're kind of doing their own thing. So I didn't want to pressure them into that sort of thing. So what I ended up doing was I left that alliance, and I made a new alliance just for my friends. Oh, I need to get out. Oh, well, we're invincible now, so we're just going to stay in this for 15 seconds. And I made this alliance for my friends. So I know people have asked, do I have an alliance? Can you join the alliance? Yes, you're more than welcome to join the alliance, but keep in mind, I'm not making this for social reasons. I'm not like trying to build up an alliance of people to like, do a bunch of content. I mean, I personally don't like dealing with a bunch of responsibility in MMOs. I like to just log in, have a good time, plan things like that. So, oh fuck, I got caught. But I personally like to have a good time and not really worry too much about those sorts of things. So it is a place for you guys to get together. And if for some reason, a lot of people end up getting together, you guys, you make little groups, you join, you talk, you have a good time. Maybe at some point, some people will start to, dude, I'm getting left here. At a certain point, you guys might, end up making groups. And if that ends up happening, and people are like, hey, I want to grow the alliance into something more. You can still keep lead of it, but I want to do this, that, and the other with it. By all means, totally down for it. But I personally am not looking to grow a huge social alliance. So I would say if that's what you're looking for, people to put together huge multi-party area events and quests and things like that, then by all means, I would say you look for a different alliance. But if you're just someone who's looking to get the tree buff, just want to hang out every once in a while, have a place for us to all come together and just say hey, that way you kind of feel like you have a little home. Little mini community, by all means, feel free to jump on board. There's no specific requirements. Just play the game when you can. And if we start to fill up on the alliance, know that if you aren't playing the game, that I might need to free up some space. Meaning that some people might end up getting kicked for inactivity every once in a while. Don't let that dissuade you completely. If you're inactive, then you're not playing the game anyway. So who cares? That doesn't mean that you can't join back in when you are playing the game. It just means that I have to leave space for people who are playing consistently. That's all. And I'll do my best to upgrade the alliance to the maximum number of people. I think it goes up to like 100. But for that, we need alliance points. And with alliance points, we can buy tree upgrades and things like that. That'll help you guys out. So before I was asking people, are you sure you wanted to join? Blah, blah, blah. But now I'm going to just start accepting people. So if you apply and I'm online, I will go ahead and shoot you a invite to the alliance. By all means, feel free to join. But again, if you're looking for something that is going to like put together real guild stuff, then unfortunately, this alliance is not the alliance for you. I may also make a group chat channel for people. I know that's something that, like, if you have your own alliance or if you have alliance with your friends, maybe you'll want to like, have a channel to join from the Twitch/YouTube channel. Then by all means, that would be a great idea. I think actually just something I came up with randomly, not even on my list of things to talk about. Just came off the dome, man. I can't help but improv every once in a while. It's my thing. All right, we got nothing. Still feels bad, man. I just picked up a monomate by accident. I'm gonna feed it to my mag. Oh, my mag actually needs food. So, okay. So we covered alliance stuff. What else are we gonna look into? Oh yeah, so people have asked about weapons, weapon upgrades, things like that. And I've mentioned this in previous videos, but I want to like mention it one more time and kind of just like really drive the point home. Don't rush your weapon upgrades, guys. Part of what I've explained and what I've shown off are upgrades and theoretical best as of right now. So if you guys watched my my recent video that I released about the weapon or the roadmap for PSO2, you guys know episode 4 is on the way. It's coming in August, which is awesome. I'm super excited for that. With that also comes new weapons that you actually can't sell. You actually have to get them as drops. So you could get super lucky and get a weapon that's really, really useful for you. Or you could have this weapon and never get another weapon again. And these weapons are very strong. I know, for example, for Bouncer, Jupiter Tullus ended up being one of the strongest weapons for Bouncers for a very long time. And even after they stopped being the strongest weapon for Bouncers, there was an upgrade to the weapon potential that then made it the strongest weapon for Bouncers again, which is kind of cool. Let me see here. I'm actually fighting this thing alone mostly. Oh, there we go. Just trying not to get one shot. His actual slam down can one shot me. because I don't have tech or buffs and hits for over 1,000 damage. There we go. He's dead. So yeah, don't really rush your weapons. Honestly, if I was leveling up, like say I started when PC first started, right? I would probably completely skip the unique weapon badges, like the regular unique weapon badge weapons, like things like the lightning espada, what else is it? There's lightning espada. There's things like the Milo Bright. Those weapons, I probably would skip them. Now, if I was a force, things like the Elder Rifle, the what's the other one? Elder Rifle and the... Why can't I think today? The Psycho Wand, that's the one. Elder Rifle and the Psycho Wand. Those weapons are actually easier to get. So I probably would go towards something like that just because it's not super expensive to grind them. But I would probably skip the 13 star and hold on to like a Nox weapon until I was able to get a hold of my... So I was able to get a hold of a Nemesis weapon. Just because the more that people are doing these, the more they become readily available. And they're not as difficult to get a hold of anymore. The more they're available, the cheaper they become. Now, not all Nemesis weapons are built equally as far as pricing is concerned. I'm looking at you fighter Nemesis weapons. By all means, if you're a fighter and you're planning on playing fighter, dude, save up your money and just grab a Nemesis weapon. They're really freaking cheap. And they're also fairly strong. And again, they have value in the future. You can use them towards a nice 15 star. Granted, it's not the best 15 star of the options, but if you're someone who uses multiple weapons on your class, it's going to be super, super beneficial for you. I'm going to switch over to this other elephant dude that has more breakable parts because I can deal more damage to those. But yeah, fighters right now, Knuckles, Twin Daggers, especially double sabers. If you plan on playing double sabers get a lot better in episode 4 just because you have access to the ring that we need. If you don't know what that ring does and you're playing double saber right now, basically your weapon action that causes that little tornado to go around you when you build your focus gauge, it makes it so you get that tornado every single time you use a PA without having to press the weapon action button and without losing the focus for it. So it's pretty buff. It is pretty much what makes double saber one of the strongest weapons on fighter because it's insane. Now granted, Knuckles are still really strong. Daggers are also still very strong. It's just the fact that we didn't have combination rings and things that fighter really needed to make the weapon super, super strong. So fighter didn't feel exactly the greatest. Also right now, when you can get hit for like a K, like out of nowhere, it's fairly difficult for fighters to get enough HP to like make it so whenever you press, I guess it's called overdrive right now. Whenever you press overdrive, for it not to be totally suicidal in game, because yeah, you press overdrive right now and you can die fairly easily. So just something to keep in mind. But so that talks about weapons. Units, kind of the same thought process, guys. Other people that are like feigning, what if I never get my ray units? What if I never get them? To be honest, again, if I was in your position right now, I would probably just chill with Brisa units or something like that, just because I would have been leveling. And honestly, leveling everything to 75 is more important than anything else. And granted, you don't have to level everything to 75 per se. That is going to get you the most stat increases, is getting everything to 75. So I feel like that honestly is more important than anything else. While the game is kind of boring outside of doing AQs and ultimate quests, because it's a little boring outside of doing those or waiting around for urgent quests. Some of you guys probably like, dude, this is awesome. But for some of us who've done all this stuff beforehand, it's a little boring. Or if you're not a really big fan of just killing enemies, it can be a bit boring. Dude, we're going in the circle again. Yo, break the circle. I'm breaking the circle. I'm breaking the circle. Give me a spawn over here. Give me a spawn over here. All right, now let's see if people follow suit. There's like nothing over there. I'm killing more enemies by myself over here than they're actually fighting over there. They really want to go in that circle. All right, man. Well, sometimes you have to go with the hive mind. You really can't change things up. But yeah, units, same thing, dude. And unit prices have actually changed pretty crazily because of the new urgent quest that's come out. And dude, Magatsu, or Cube Gatsu as I like to call him, good old Maggie, he drops Brisa units on the highest difficulty. So that's kind of crazy. So Brisa units are actually going down in price. That's not completely my fault. I know I mentioned an easy way to get a hold of Breezy units using Rising Weapon Badge 2s, but and you can sell them, but they're actually going down in price quite a bit. And that's both on ship 1 and on ship 2, because I have characters on both, and I have check prices on both. Because I always get the obligatory friend, haha, you went to ship 2, prices are so much cheaper on ship 1, when almost everything is like within a fraction of a percent of each other. There are some fashions that, you know, that are outliers on ship 1, and there's some fashions that are outliers on ship 2, but it's mostly the same. Just, you ship 3 boys out there, I'm sorry. It's pretty bad. I've seen the numbers on ship 3. It's not a good time. But hey, hopefully things will even out. We'll have to see. But anyway, as far as like the weapons and units, guys, don't rush it. I understand you want to be the strongest you possibly can be as soon as you possibly can be, but if you're level 50 and you're thinking about a 13 star, you're rushing. I'll be perfectly honest with you. Unless you just happen to fall into one randomly that just drops on your lap and it's one of the best in slot 13 stars, somehow you know, a friend or maybe just decided they were going to give you a nemesis weapon, I really wouldn't worry about it. Just don't even think about it. Grind your Nox weapon. If you happen to be a force or ranger, you lucked out, chill with your elder rifle or your psycho wand, and then just wait until an update. Or if you happen to, like, you know, just happen to get through everything super fast, say like next week you've grinded everything to cap, right, and you're just ready to go, you've got tons of money, and you're like, hey, you know what, I want to have this weapon ready for later, then by all means at that point in time go for it. But like right now, you got to think about the investment money wise. You're grinding these 13 star weapons, it's going to cost you anywhere between 6 to 9 mil depending upon how you're actually doing the grind process. That's an average, granted. You know, it's not the exact amount it's going to cost you. Maybe it'll cost you less depending upon what you have available on the side. That's really what you're looking at monetary wise, because you could, you know, of course you could sell those materials for more. But am I making a point here yet, guys? Am I driving it home enough for you? Stop rushing, basically. Basically just stop rushing. I mean, look at me. I'm literally still using my 11 star units when I have friends that have already, actually 2 of my buddies who started during PC have actually already gotten 2 ray weapon or 2 ray unit drops. So they're technically past me as far as weapon or as far as units are concerned. Now, granted, some of them have been playing a ton, like a crap ton, so it makes sense, but still. And last thing I kind of wanted to talk about today, is that people have been asking, you know, what should I be preparing? What should I be saving for the episode 4 update? And really the most important thing to save, and again, this is one of those moments where I say something and I feel like there's going to be someone out there that's going to be like, you mother, how dare you? You've now killed my market. Is if you're getting them as drops, your, what are they called? Your photon art discs? Hold photon art discs. Just because photon art discs are going to break down to something called photon art frags, or PA frags for short. And those PA frags are used to craft techniques and to craft photon arts. Those type 0 PAs you guys have probably been hearing about if you're looking at guides or anything along those lines, like, hey, this makes or breaks the actual photon art or the weapon or whatever it is you're doing. This, you know, this makes it so it's playable. Those all come from frags, and those frags come from discs. So if you have 11 or a level 11 discs and above, they break down into frags. Now I would say still sell the ones that are selling well, because there are some that are selling well. I'm not going to say which ones. I'm going to leave that market alone. You guys who are selling that market, by all means, I'm not going to destroy that market for you. That's too much. But if you're selling discs, still sell them. They're going to be worth money. But if you have over level 11 discs and you want to hoard something, hoard them, because you'll break those down into PA frags. You use those PA frags to craft your discs, and those items that you can craft to make your type 0 discs or to make your crafted techniques, they're actually RNG on how good they're going to be. So sometimes you end up with a really, really great one. Sometimes you end up with a really, really poor one. Now, granted, it's always going to succeed. You don't ever fail the actual craft. So if you're just after a type 0 because you want the effect, then by all means, you'll be fine. But if you want to fully min-max them, you're going to craft them more than once. So you'll craft a couple of them, and maybe you'll sell those. Or maybe you'll craft a ton of them, you get the one that you want very early on, and then you start selling more of them. Or you sell the frags on the market. Frags are sellable. the actual item that you make to change the actual PA, it's also sellable. So that's a bit of a market there that people are going to start using as well. So you know, keep that in mind. Or if you don't like hoarding anything and you're like, you know what, dude, I'll take care of it when it becomes a thing, then hey, you can just buy them whenever they pop up. They're going to be expensive. Don't get me wrong. People are going to sell them for quite a bit of money, but something to prepare. Dude, did we break the circle? Oh, we broke the circle. I didn't even realize we broke the circle, dude. I was just with a hive mind. All right, let's switch weapons to the Orochis because we know we have a breakable part that we're dealing with. Get that lock on. Nice. Oh, we also got the blight bullet here too. Diablo is kind of annoying, to be honest. He likes to jump up and do that annoying little spin. But that's really about it, guys. As far as like, you know, things to talk about, news, things to like kind of keep up with. It's really all you got to worry about. Other than that, just play the game. Have a good time. There's going to be more to do. If you're someone who hasn't had a ton of time to play the game and you're like, oh man, new levels are coming out. How am I going to fall behind on levels? These AQs are really, really, you know, they're mind numbing. I can't really deal with it. Leveling gets easier, by the way, as you go on. Not as in like it gets easier as you get higher leveled, as in like as we get more content, there are more ways to level. So don't worry too much about it. With episode 4 release, I'm pretty sure we're going to get them, but we get something called limited quests. That they are basically another one of the recommended quests. Let me get you out of there, buddy. But another one of the recommended quests that's cycle every single day. And super helpful on experiences. It usually has an experience buff on it. And it's usually like kill a bunch of enemies or kill a bunch of bosses, which we all know bossing in this game is a lot more fun than killing enemies. As I'm sure some of you guys who've had friends that have quit playing the game already know, bossing is the more fun in this than just killing random mobs. Nothing. Feels bad, man. Oh, Diablo unit. Nice, nice. Diablo. Nice, very nice. Yeah, that's really about it, guys. I'm probably just going to cut it here. I don't really have a whole lot more to talk about with you guys, but if you guys have any other questions, things you want me to talk about during these sorts of videos, I will do my best to grab some information and bring it along, but also try to answer those comments as I go along. I try to think of those comments before I get into these videos, make little notes of them aside, but I'm not 100% perfect on them. So I will start gathering those comments as I see them pop up and then hold on to them for the next video, so on and so forth. So anyway, if you like this sort of video, go ahead and feel free to toss it a like. Again, it absolves you of one half of your ad block guilt. The other half is subscribing to the channel. Both are free. Helps me out a ton. And, you know, makes me feel all warm and fuzzy on the inside. If you guys have any questions, feel free to toss them in the comments. Like I mentioned, I will go through them as soon as I can. But you guys have noticed the channel's starting to get a bit bigger. So, you know, the days of 100 views on a video being a good thing is long gone. That happens now within like the first hour of the video, which isn't saying a whole lot for bigger channels, but it is for a smaller one. It's actually saying 100 videos on the first 15-20 minutes of the channel. However, the video is actually starting to become a bit more normal, so I'll do my best to keep up with them as I can. And of course, you comment heroes, continue to be yourselves. I appreciate all of you. Thank you so much for answering all those questions, guys. And yeah, thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you all in the next one. Oh, can I do this? Can I do this? Greet. Take care.